Level Up Podcast. We back for a special, very special day today. We have the pleasure of meeting and sitting down with somebody who is powerful in the city, the community, and helping people that are in need. Mr. Willie Powell.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Down.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Yes, you got us in a space where we feel like we just got to sit up and be attentive fully to you.
Oh, there we go.
Yes,
We're
sir.
happy. We'll
Yes,
do
sir.
it that way.
And thank you for, like I said, again, taking out the time and allowing us to be in your space and, sit down with us, because what you're doing and have done for the people is amazing. I followed your journey and glad to be here.
Wow. Look, this is what we do every day. It's who I am. Love to help and give back, answer questions. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. I'm happy to help.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about
So,
it.
and how did you start on your journey? As far as, did you always want to do law, or did?
Yeah, so actually, for me, it was a bit of a journey.
Okay.
I didn't know exactly. I knew I was going to be going to graduate school. My parents are doctors, and so I actually thought I was going to be going into medicine originally.
Gotcha. Okay.
But growing up here in Houston, they got different magnet schools. So you got the schools for engineering, you got the schools for performing and visual arts.
Right.
Actually, it was my dad that encouraged me to try something different. If you think you're going to go into medicine, go to one of the magnet schools and see if you like those programs. Just see. You never know. And so, kind of on that advice, in part, I ended up at Booker T. Washington, the high school for engineering professions, and had a blast. Loved it. A lot of fun. And that scholarship is what took me out of Texas to Philadelphia on the scholarship, where I became a chemical engineer.
Nice. Okay. How was that change from going to Texas way out there to Philly?
Yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to go out of Texas, for school, So my sister, she graduated before me. She's a little older, and she went away for college. So I wanted to go away.
Same
and there's a lot of good schools out there. A lot of different. And I wanted to kind of, I've been in Houston my whole life. I wanted to kind of feel some other different things, and so I was accepted to a lot of different schools around the country. But at the end of the day, the best package that I decided to go with was at Drexel University in Philadelphia.
Nice.
And the good thing about Philly is it's a big city just like Houston. So I felt like, okay, from one big city to another big city,
for sure.
I just had to, get used to the swing of things.
For sure.
And,
get the cheesesteaks.
there you go. There you go. Come on. You learn a little bit more when you get a little bit further away from home.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so I definitely ran the steps with Rocky.
Rocky
ran all that. So, so it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Now, how long of a process is that, school-wise, to get to what you're doing?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. Because there's so many different ways to skin a cat, as you know.
For sure.
But once you get out of your grade school, 12th grade, then typically you go into college, right? Colleges are usually 4-year curriculums.
Right.
Although Drexel was a 5-year curriculum. And then because I added coursework, because at that point I still wasn't sure if I was going to do medicine or law. It was really like a 6-year curriculum. So, for example, I majored in chemical engineering, had a dual minor in biology and music. So I wanted to keep my music going. As you know, I'm classically trained in violin, but I wanted to learn to play the piano and read the piano. So double minor and then a concentration in biomaterials and tissue engineering. So when you add all of that on top of their original curriculum, which is 5 years, really a 6-year program. And the reason why it's 5 years is because when you graduate with a Drexel degree, you graduate with a 1.5 year working experience. So what happens is they have a full year your freshman year, half a year your sophomore year, then the other half of that year you're working. Then they have what's called a pre-junior year. Half of that year you're working, half that year you're in school, and then your junior year, again, half the year you're working, half the year you're in school, and then you do a full year for your final year, your senior year.
Wow.
So that makes up the 5 years.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Right. So they want people to, a lot of times when you graduate from college, they're like, you don't have any working experience and stuff like that. So they want all of the graduates to come out with a 1.5 working experience.
That's very smart.
And so you add that other stuff on top of 6 years, but because I knew I wanted to go, I was thinking I was going to graduate school, either medicine, law. I didn't want to take 6 years at the undergraduate level. So I finished it in a 4.
Dang.
Congratulations on that. That was
I worked really hard.
The award for that, too.
I should get a Grammy at the
No,
end.
definitely.
So really busy. Took the LSAT, the MCAT, the GMAT, all the different exams, entry-level exams for the graduate school programs. And long story short, through those working experiences, working with various professors and stuff like that, that's when it was determined that law would be the best fit for me long term.
Yeah. That's
Fire.
powerful. Yeah. See, I love the fact that, people got to know in the world we're in now that you took the long road. Even though you got it done faster, people want instant gratification for things now. They're thinking, if I work over here for 6 months, I should be owning the place in a year. And it's not like that because, just in your journey, you said by yourself, even though you did it in 4 years, there's still a lot of time, boots on the ground, really putting the effort to be the person that you are now.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you hit on a very important point because it's so hard in the society that we live in now with microwaves. It's a microwave society.
Yes.
We don't have to wait for anything.
Right.
If you want to watch a movie, it's instant.
Exactly.
Everything. But when it comes to like education and stuff like that, you really can't rush it. You got to learn this. You got to practice it. And then when we fast forward and we start talking about what I'm doing today, we got people's livelihoods in my hands.
Exactly.
You don't want anybody that just, fly by day, fly by night, popped up and here I am. You want somebody that understands what they're doing, they know they want to do it, and they're
100%.
good at what they do.
100%.
Right? And so it's important. Yeah, we definitely want all our listeners to know, this is some things you can rush, but some things you really need to, you really want to take its time.
Sure.
And, like that good cooking. Let it
soul
marinate.
food.
Let it marinate a little bit. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving
Sure.
is around the corner. Some
Right.
things got to marinate a little bit, and then it's ready. And that's one of these type things.
Right. Okay.
Real. So, go ahead.
No, I was saying, so, of course, you had to be motivated to do what you wanted to do. So how did you find balance from your personal life to...
Excellent question.
to
Wow. I'm telling you. And to be honest with you, that's a constant struggle. Even we fast forward to now, because of how busy things are, I'm trying to find... And, it's quite common. It's not just me. It's a lot of people that struggle with finding that proper balance, between the family, between the work, between the pleasure, between, relaxation, because some people mix pleasure and playing with relaxation. It's not, you can't play all the time either.
Right.
At some point, you got to lay down and rest. You got to get some sleep. Your body needs it, right?
Yeah.
In order to fully function. And so that balance for me, I've tried to do, I have to do what works for me. Right? So what may work for me may not work for everybody else.
Right.
But the things that I found that helped me with that balance was my music. Okay, like I said, I'm a musician.
Right.
So when I play music, that's a release for me. Either piano, violin, or whatever, singing, drums, all these things. Working out, going to the gym, that's a release. It's fun, So being athletic, being around music, or just being with friends. Okay, just by being with friends, right? Going out to eat or a birthday party is a relax, right? So we got to work these type of things in, movies.
Sure.
Great, right?
Yeah.
Recently, not so long ago, I had a couple of friends. They got me back into roller skating again.
Okay.
So just little things like this, things like that, working it in between, right? Because the grind is definitely real.
Right.
Life is real.
Definitely is.
Right. So just finding those little things in between to, help, keep you on the pathway, right? Church, church.
Sure.
Can't forget about that.
Sure.
So
I think that's my problem too, like just speaking, because everybody in this room right now is entrepreneurs to some extent.
Sure.
So the battle I think a lot of us have is finding that cutoff time, because for example, we got office hours, business hours, you got assistants, whatever you may have, but sometimes it'd be like, dang, when do I really cut it off? How do I close that laptop, turn off that iPad or the iPhone to receive them calls, versus personal versus business. So that's the battle I'm having. So that's my personal thing.
I hear you.
Because you always feel like you don't want to miss something, or that one phone call that might be that whatever $1 million client that you need to go to the next level. So I don't know. So.
No, it's tough. Again, it's a struggle. It's a daily. It's not like, I don't think it's a one answer. I don't think this is the recipe.
Right.
It's a balance, right? And it's what you do. It's what works for you. You just got to make sure that you're being true to yourself.
Yeah.
So that means if there's something that you need to do, like for me, this is 24/7 what I do, right? But then there's times when I get away, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because see, if I don't, I won't be able to do what I do.
Exactly.
Right? So you've got to make sure that you're true to yourself, right? Now, of course, when I'm gone, I've got people in place, so my clients know we never sleep, all right? But just so that you know, right? So you got to be true to yourself, right? In that regard,
Okay. So like, it's gonna be like a hard question for me to get out, but I'm gonna put it together. Okay, so you went the route where you took the education route, you did your time in school and stuff like that. Now, if it was possible, like that you didn't need like a bachelor's degree or any type of degree or education to do what you do, would a person be able to succeed in as a personal injury lawyer with just experience alone, no education, no knowledge for the actual? I mean, they have knowledge of the law, but they don't have like
the baccalaureate degree.
Right.
So excellent, very good question. My understanding is that there are some exceptions to the rule, right? Like there's people who maybe they didn't do a college degree, or like they're really smart, like those Doogie Howser type people. They can skip medical school and be a doctor. I mean, few and far in between type people. I don't know what it takes. Like I can't tell you what the criterion is for that. But I can't tell you which states allow it. So some states may allow that, some states may not. But I do know, I've heard that there are certain exceptions where maybe people who are attorneys did not take that traditional route, where they did the traditional undergrad and then they went to law school and then took the bar and passed. Like they still have to, like you say, you still have to pass the bar. You have to be licensed by whatever state you're practicing in. But there's, some schools will waive credits, or states will waive or allow credits, or let you take substitute exams and stuff like that. I don't know the criterion for that, but there are some exceptions in some places.
I wasn't the long haul people, so
definitely not. And I was just generally speaking, not like somebody who actually want to do
I'll get you the cheat sheet after the meeting for the right price.
There you go. My question I want to ask too is, like, I mean, you've done so many great things I've seen and follow your journey, but also reaching back to the community. So at what point did you say, I want to reach out to these people, or how do you decide what groups you work with? Because I've seen in a lot of things.
Wow. Yeah, this is that's something near and dear to my heart. I mean, ever since I was little, I was helping others. I kind of joke. So the first question was, did you know you were going to go on the law and all this other stuff? I've been a lawyer longer than, all my life. Let's call some of my elementary friends up here and see how many times I got them out of trouble. Right? They got in trouble. They come to me and say, "You go talk to Miss Smith. You go talk to Miss Hole. You go talk to," so I don't get in trouble. Now I didn't know my friends was pimping me then for free. You know what I mean?
Now I come with a fee.
Now them same friends, they know what time it is, right? But I've been helping people, and am I passionate for having fun and working with people? This has been who I am. That's the easiest way to explain it. But in terms of what we're doing now, I just think about all of the things. There's so many areas, right? Look at the world. Look at how we're hurting these days, right? There's just so many different areas in which we can touch upon. So we like to try to give back to leaders in our community who impact a lot of other people.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
It does.
Right. So we can give to individuals, right? or we can give to leaders who are, incorporated with a lot of people.
Gotcha.
And by helping those leaders, we're also helping a lot of other people.
Gotcha.
Right? So like pastors, like fraternities and sororities, as an example. We just sponsored an event at the 100 Black Men, right? So just as an example, by helping strategic community entities throughout, you're going to be helping a lot of kids, a lot of young people, and a lot of families throughout as well. So there's a lot of different things. A lot of, and even the law firm, we're giving out information. We're trying to give out, we give out little trinkets. We love merch. We have a few members at the office. Like if you come to our event, you're gonna leave with something. If you don't get a goodie bag, something they must have all been handed out before you got there. Some candy or something, right? A hat or something, a pen. So we're gonna make sure that we're helping people. People don't leave empty-handed, either informational or otherwise.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's important. That's important.
For sure.
So what falls under, like, if you could give like incidents or examples of what falls under personal injuries?
Oh, excellent. Absolutely. Personal. Very good question again. I think he's ready for law school. You want to take the test?
That's why I asked my questions.
No, actually, I went to a high school that made you study law.
Oh, well, that's good.
But I just didn't go to.
That's okay. We're going
I had
to
to fight cases and everything.
Oh, well, that is really good. That is an awesome experience. But yeah, personal injury is a huge umbrella. I mean, a whole world in personal injury. So we could go on and on and on. But with personal injury, you got people that have been injured, like in car accidents. You hear that all the time on the radio. 18-wheeler, motorcycle, ATV. Maybe they got injured on the job. Maybe they got injured offshore. You hear about the plant explosions. You hear about people getting burned up. All of this falls under personal injury. Basically, any way or manner in which you can be injured falls under the category of personal injury. Dog bites, so just all sorts of different ways, and just think about that. How many ways you can get injured? That falls under. So I mean, even people with assaults and fights, depending upon where it happens and what's going on, so all of this falls under that umbrella of personal injury. And then even on a larger scale too, like right now, for example, you're hearing a lot about the Camp Lejeune. You heard about that on the radio or TV? Okay, so about the Marines who were stationed at Camp Lejeune and they were drinking the contaminated, sorry, I can't speak anymore.
Contaminated.
The contaminated.
I think,
we all do.
Water.
Right.
And so a whole bunch of people got injured, right? And so now all of those people have potentially claims and stuff like that as well. So on a large scale, not just on an individual scale, but if groups of people get injured, then that also falls on personal injury as well.
Okay.
Gotcha. See, but I want more in our community. We're so big on not wanting to report to law and legal stuff. I'm gonna be all right. I want us to get to understand, if you hurt somewhere, it's okay to call somebody to get assistance. We're so big on, I don't need that. I don't want to call her. No, I'm snitching. But in reality, 5 years from now, you might be really hurt from following at that corner store or
absolutely.
Whatever.
Oh, you'll be how many calls I get, and it's really sad. Because a lot of times we have something that's called the statute of limitations. Right? And so when people they think, okay, I can handle it on my own, and then they call, and it's like we have to tell them our hands are tied because the statute of limitation has expired. That means you have only so much time to bring your cause of action or your claims.
Gotcha.
And so it is critical, and you hit it on the head. You don't want to be macho. You don't want to try to sleep on it because you don't have to pay for it if you bring your claim on time. Now, if you are outside of that statute, now you're on your own. But if somebody else hits you, if you slip and fail because of somebody else's negligence, you want to make sure you call an attorney so that we can go in and investigate, help you out, get you some medical care and all that so you can feel better, but also preserve your claim so the person who's at fault can pay for everything, including you. Your injuries and pain and suffering, mental anguish, and all the things that are going to come to you as a result of that. Loss of wages, all of that.
Right.
So you don't want to, and I especially for guys, you know, it's like, because you're like, oh, I'll be all right because we play football and all of this.
Embarrassed and all that kind of stuff.
You want to go ahead and pick up the phone and call. Let us take care of that for you. You know, and that's the best thing. You know, what you should do.
If I'm following, I'm calling.
Yeah.
I'm calling. It's the
Well, we say one call, we'll handle it all. So I tell you what, you call one call, you let me know, we'll handle the rest.
And does that statute of limitation vary by case, or is it like a standard?
It is. State by state, every state has a different statute of limitations, but usually you're looking at about a 2 year from the time of the incident. Okay. But also, some particular causes of action, the statute is longer than 2 years. But most of them fall within 2 years. But you also don't want to wait like a year or 2 years. Like you want to call immediately because there's value. Every day that's missed, you want an expert working on your case. You want somebody looking and analyzing, making sure we get the evidence that we need, and you're getting the care and treatment that you need immediately. Because each day that you wait, it's really hurting with your injuries and the value legally of your case. Because that evidence may go stale, or we can't find it, or the pictures are no longer there, the video's gone, all the things start getting more complicated. People forget. You lose the eyewitness that saw everything, they move to another state. So you want to immediately at the beginning get us involved so that we can make sure that we preserve your rights, preserve your case, and make sure that you're taken care of.
Sure.
All right. So somebody that's building, like, just starting off and building their own law firm, what you do, what kind of advice can you give them as far as how to build a good reputation
that's
to be the person that you...
That's a wonderful question. I'm gonna try, but you know that's so important because your reputation precedes you.
Yes, it does.
Right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so let's put this all together, right? Let's put this all together. Because Houston is my home. So I'm born and raised here, right? So this doesn't just start when you go to law school.
Right.
You know, like I said, this has been a pattern, like where I've been helping people, loving people, caring on people, having fun, and friends with people, not hurting people, doing right by people. So when you come back and now you say, this is my shop, people now, oh man, that's the one, because your reputation. Right?
For sure.
So all of this is connected. Yes. Okay. But so when you say you're working on it, now that doesn't mean, okay, we all look, I wasn't perfect in elementary school. Come on now, right? You hear what I'm saying, right? But what we're saying is, what you're saying is that it's very important that you maintain a good reputation. Like your kids, people are gonna forget, you know, but when you get to high school, you get to college, you want to start working on making sure that people know who you are, what you're about, and what you're doing, if you can. So I don't know who's listening today. Particularly if you're in middle school, high school, college, it's important. You know, it's important what you say and what the things you do. See, when I went to college, I knew I wanted to come back to Houston. So I went to school in Philadelphia, but I knew I wanted to come back home to Houston, right? And so I tapped back in. Now, let's say I stayed in Philadelphia, for example. Now I'm starting all over again, in terms of reputation. And sometimes you got to reboot, right? Some you got to hop out and start over, right? But as an example, I wanted to, and in this case, then it worked out because I had a good reputation leaving when I came back, right? And then also in Philly. Now we got a good thing going in Philly too, right? So we do work in Atlanta, we do work in other places. But it's so important because if you're doing good things for people, that word and that message gets out. And then that's how people know about you. They know that you're trustworthy. And then they'll refer other people back to you. And so that's critical for that person that's trying to open up a business. Those referrals and stuff like that is very, very important. And so that's why the reputation is so important as well.
The word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth is
Everything.
critical,
Yeah.
particularly in the beginning. Yeah, it's a lot to talk about when getting that office set up.
Definitely.
People like, I remember you.
Yeah, they won't come back if you
We
did
hard
wrong.
on each other.
That's
We
right.
hard on each other.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah,
It's important.
Definitely is. I want to say, like, again, it's so powerful to see driving down the freeway and seeing that billboard. I'd be like, I just blow the horn. Like, that's my Facebook friend, right? You know what I mean? But I think it's good to see people that look like us, you know what I mean, in those positions. Because a lot of times kids just think, all I can do is be a rapper, all I can do is play basketball.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a small percentage. But if you apply yourself and go to school, it's more people that's likely to succeed in the long game.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. Nothing wrong with sports and music, entertainment. It's great. But you're right. People need to see other ways too.
Right.
Because there's other ways that you can impact your society, your community. You can be successful. You can have fun. And you're not limited. So, like, if you're not 6'6" or 300 pounds and can run faster than Carl Lewis or whatever, there's still something else that you may be able to find that's good for you.
Right.
And definitely law, medicine. There's a lot of other things out there.
Right.
So, so important. I remember also when you said that back when I was in elementary school, Mattress Mac.
Oh yeah.
He came and he visited my elementary school, and he came out and he pulled the money out and said, "You really will save you money." He did all this. He did all this.
The whole show.
And I remember that because that's what I used to see on TV. Guess what he's still doing today? The same thing. Yeah. Think about that impact and how many generations. People. Why his billboards are all over town.
Right.
Why his name is at all the stadiums. And I mean, he's been doing it. Now his kids are doing it. And his grandkids are doing it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So getting back to opening that practice, the reputation, and then getting out there and the influence it has on people, particularly young people, to see that. So we should have some representation too.
Right?
Definitely. Yes. And it's important. It's important. It's very good.
So how do we get in contact with your firm? How do we get information on it?
Well, the easiest way I would probably say is just to call directly. Okay. That number would be 281-881-2457. Okay. So 281 2457. All right. But you can go to #WillieWins. You can #WillieWins. You can go to the website. Law offices of Willie D Powells III and Associates PLLC, but Willie Powell's Law Firm. Okay. You can go to williewins.com. Okay. So we got the williewins.com.
Winning is.
Hey, look, win with Willie. That's what it's all about. Willie Wins. We're on Facebook, TikTok. I think we just got the Twitter open again. So we're trying to get all of the social media platforms going, Instagram. But I mean, the easiest thing is that number, 281-881-2457, or williewins.com. williewins.com.
Yes, but we thankful for allowing us again to sit down with you and learn some stuff. And let people know, hey, you can do this too.
Oh, you the man. Thank you for having me. Of course. All right, right here where it all started, South Texas College of Law. And check us out on Willie Wins TV as well.